Alright, y'all. I'm just at the park. Thought I'd make this video before it gets dark on me. Because, Saturdays when I am off, for the most part, I'm just in sleeping. But, yeah, I actually mustered up the strength to, get out here and get my hair cut after a really long time. So, yeah, I just thought that now that I'm finally finished with that, and I took a nap after the fact and got some groceries and whatnot, that I go ahead and stop and make this video about what's been on my mind concerning this change of events, concerning my transitioning, I guess you can say, as a gym goer. Because during the new year, I noticed, like, around the new year, this gym that I've been going to for, since I moved out here has had some serious volume, where it was just, like I said, just a crap ton of people in there on their phones, socializing, gossiping. I mean, females wearing the booty shorts, you already know the gym culture. You already know the whole deal. See if I can get that. It's the moon is in it's either in it's either in waning gibbous or waning crescent. Either or, it's waning. And traditionally, you're supposed to go on the fact that it's for waning gibbous, it's that traditionally is supposed to be on the right side of the moon, whereas waxing crescent is supposed to be on the left side. But this fucker's pointing down from our position. And last time I saw the moon, it was in I could confirm it because it was definitely on the left side of us, while it was right side up. That it was in the one next to, yeah, waxing gibbous, or waxing crescent, excuse me, waxing crescent. So that's why, just because it seems like it's on the right, I can't just assume that it's in waning gibbous, because it could be waning crescent. You don't know. I don't know if there's been a new moon yet, or if since the last time I saw the moon, in its last in its lunar phase then, which I can confirm it was indeed waning gibbous. Not waning gibbous, waxing crescent. Because waxing crescent is the second stage that it gets to before. It's the second stage it gets to before it becomes a new moon, where you can't see it at all. And then, the stage after that is a waning crescent, and traditionally it's supposed to be on the left. Anywho, so yeah, the gym, right? And I'm still a member of this gym, as I've been going there for 5 years, and it has its perks. As far as the fact that it has a sauna and a steam room and a pool, and with the weather, you know, you know, climbing up, getting up there. This is pretty much about the time to the fuck. Saturdays be something else. Cause at our job we used to work on Saturdays. So yeah, I know that, right? Right, that sucks, right? Of course it does. But yeah, we used to work Saturdays, and we've stopped doing that for about a good year now. So as stoked as I am about that, and I hope they don't switch that shit back up to where they just have us, having an off day somewhere in the middle of the week, and then just having Sundays off. I hope they just keep it the way it is, Monday through Friday. But yeah, on Saturdays though, it be some. And I guess due to the reason and the fact that it's the weekend and people want to get drunk and revelrous, I guess. I guess. But anyway, so like I said, I'd been going to this gym for 5 years, and then the pandemic hit, and needless to say, I got fat. I mean, fat and flabby, because I think I'm getting fat now. I'm pretty sure I am, but I'm at least this time I'm not flabby. But I'm gonna go into that. I'm gonna get into that in a minute. Because back then I wasn't working out, but I was eating, so yeah, I was getting fat and flabby. Then the gyms opened back up, so I managed to run a good portion of that weight off. And then which then these fools after a while, because the pandemic was still going on, but the gyms were finally had opened back up. But then these fools were up here limiting the gym time. They didn't do it right away. They did it after the fact, like 3 months after they had opened back up from the pandemic, by which I spent that entire summer losing all that, burning off all that COVID weight. As I always say, I probably, yeah, at the time I didn't catch COVID 19. I probably did catch COVID 19, but I also catch COVID 15. And so there was this gym, ironically enough, you can't make this up. There was this gym that was just right over by the corner of my house. And it was much closer. Ugh. And yeah, it was some rinky-dink gym. I mean, the owners were corrupt as hell, and I think they still have other locations. But long story short, they ended up shutting down like last year around this time. Ironically enough, like quite literally, yeah, they shut down last May. But they had a pretty long run, considering that they had opened like in the summer of the pandemic. Yeah, in 2020. Wow, that is strange. So yeah, they had a fairly good run, like almost 2 years, or 2 years pretty much. And I ended up signing up for that gym because I had known of it, but I wasn't really sure if I was gonna join it. But when they did that goofy shit at my first gym, that kind of forced me, because I was like, I'm gonna need way more than just 2 hours to be at the gym, because even at when I was going to this gym to work out anyway, I had a good 4 hours to get in whatever it was that I was gonna do. And you would think 4 hours would be more than enough, but when you consider recovery time, between your sets, you'd be hard. I mean, you'd be lucky if you can manage to get in a good workout session within that period of time. Because whenever I get on the tread, because I run 8 miles on the tread, and for me to accomplish it, that takes That takes 2 hours right there. So the other half of that is, basically where you got to do your weights. And then, I've been trying to incorporate calisthenics as well. So it's like, where do you have the time to do all that stuff within that 4 hour time period? Like I said, you'd be amazed how fast that clock goes by. You'd be amazed. So as inconvenient as it was, it actually was convenient in that this gym, this second gym was closer to my home, and it was about the same price. In fact, it was a little bit more than the first gym that I've been going to since 2018. And on top of that, with the exception of the sauna, steam room, and pool, even though they promised that, they made an empty promise. They didn't promise no pool, but they did say that they were going to open up a sauna and steam room, which they never did. They made an empty promise on that. But aside from all that, they had weights. They had all the weights you need. They had machines like pulleys and stuff. They had cardio. They had tread, and they had a whole lineup of heavy bags. Cause boxing's my thing. That's what I do. So I finally solved the problem to, I solved two problems. One was during the pandemic, because eventually the first gym did open back up to regular hours, but it was a good period of time that they did that goofy shit where and at first they limited it to 1 hour, then they brought it up to 2 hours, and I think eventually they did 3 hours, and then eventually they they opened up like the regular hours. But with that said though, even with the regular hours, they still had the sauna and steam room closed down. So I was like, now they did have the hot tub, so the hot tub was open for use, but the steam room was down. So yeah, it was a real bum. It was a real it was You can imagine my frustration. So I was like, I figured, I just put two and two together, and just figured, well, hell, with all that going on, I might as well work out and do all my workouts at this gym, by which I can get up earlier, or get up, or even getting up later. Because I ain't gonna lie, it's been hard getting up out of bed since I've been getting up in age. It just is. So it ain't every day, a ninja just gonna want to get up and commute to the gym like that. So that's where this gym was somewhat convenient, because yes, yeah, I had to get up and walk, but by that time I was getting in my workouts because it was much closer, and plus they had a heavy bag, so I could practice my punching power and whatnot, develop that. Then of course the fucker shut down. So what did that leave me? What options did that leave me? Going back to this gym, to which I've been a loyal customer for the past 5 years, working out there, waiting my turn, waiting in line to do all that, and things were cool. I was doing all that even with being short of being bereft of a heavy bag, and no longer being able to use that, and all the frustration that came along with that, and me asking them goofy questions like, if y'all ever gonna get something like a heavy bag, and getting just as much of a buffoonish answer, because the answer was like, stuff like that's like controversial and stuff like, and some people ain't trying to hear all that. It ain't like we talking about setting up a boxing ring when motherfuckers going up in there and getting knocked the fuck out. It ain't like a whole boxing gym we asking for. We just asking for a heavy bag. Because sometimes in that gym, there'll be folks coming in there with it'll be like boxing guys, Muay Thai guys, going up in there, practicing their stuff. I'm like, yeah, because they looking for something where, to hone in their skill, to hone in their craft, which just happens to be boxing or Muay Thai. So after a year of doing that and, readjusting, this is 2022 now, readjusting back to this gym, going back there to work out, whereas I would go to the second gym to do my workouts, because the first gym at that point, I would just go in there basically to chill, to like sit in the sauna, steam room, and hot tub. At that point, that's that's how that gym became. That's how it developed that use after the pandemic, during and after the pandemic. That's the use that gym developed, or became rather. So I was just thinking, I'm gonna have to do something about this, if nothing else, at least about the heavy bag, because I'm trying. Like lately, my whole thing has been getting swole. Like I've cut down my weight at least to an acceptable level. So I was like, and it ain't good enough that I'm doing weights, because I'm trying to get strong and a motherfucker, but I'm doing all these weights, but I ain't incorporating no push-ups, no pull-ups, no dips, stuff that would definitely, I mean, it would do more help than harm. Because last thing I want to be is one of these bodybuilders who can't even do a single pull-up, but I can bench press all this weight. So surely I don't want to do that or become that. But again, look, I got a very limited time frame, because I'm now working out at this gym, by which, yeah, I can get in a semi decent workout, sure, but at the same time, under the same breath, yeah, there's still things that I'm just missing, like, because I just don't have enough time to get it in. So enter 2023. After all of that, after all that jazz between uh, 2020 and 2022, 2023 comes in. I'm dead set on breaking my plateau on the bench, because I'm looking at the shit. I'm looking at the fact that I'm 37 years old, and I've been at the gym since I was 18 years old. And sure, there was a time that I could bench press my max, like the most I've ever bench pressed was like 235, at least off my chest, because I don't consider it a true bench press unless you can get it off your chest. Sure, I've pressed 245 before, when I was heavy and fat than a motherfucker, but I really don't count that shit. So I was hell bent and determined. I made it my New Year's resolution. And I remember telling one buddy of mine at the gym, that my New Year's resolution, and he guessed it for me, because I told him, yeah, I got a New Year's resolution, and surely enough, it was like out of his own mouth. He basically worded my own before I even got a chance to word my own New Year's resolution, which is basically bench press, like press two, get two plates on there and press it. I was like, you read my mind. That is exactly what my New Year's resolution is getting two plates on that bench and pressing it at least once, because you got to crawl before you walk. But something that I haven't done, something I haven't done in over 12 years, because back in my 20s, I used to overeat. I did. Yeah, if I did eat like a bodybuilder, I ate like an overweight bodybuilder. Yeah, I was bulking all right. I was eating way too much, and yeah, I mean, I low key got a little strong, but I'm just looking at the fact that I know I'm not nearly as heavy as I was back then, and I'm on the verge of bench pressing just as much as I bench pressed back then, when I was, pretty much like 215. I was heavy than a motherfucker, because most power. I mean, a motherfucker at 215 who weighs 215 probably bench pressing twice as much as body weight, like, and swole than a motherfucker. So with me being however much I weigh now, which I'm pretty sure is somewhere in like 180 something, um, that's how much I can bench press now. Is not 235, not yet anywhere. I haven't confirmed it. So what I did was, because like I said, this was becoming a real pet peeve for me. It was real frustrating. Because like I said, I was bogged down on time, having to get up and then commute to the gym, and then change clothes, and then get out there, work out in between sets. I was thinking about the so-called glory years of the second gym, where I could do all that in a much quicker time frame and do it with less interference, because it wasn't hardly a whole lot of even it wasn't even half the membership wasn't half the amount of people there at this first gym. It wasn't even half that amount. So I could go in there and basically do my thing. So come 2023, like I said, there's this over influx of people, and you only have, at that gym, you only have like 3 bench presses. And even though they have a lot more dumbbell seats, they're all occupied. Everybody's on there hitting the bench press, hitting the dumbbells. And you can forget about the machines too, because they hitting those. So you literally have to just sit up there and wait your turn, wait in line to use the bench press within the time frame, within a 4-hour time frame. And like I said, I run treadmill, so that's 2 hours by itself, in and of itself. So the other half of that workout session is, you only got 2 hours. And for my needs as a because I'm pretty much like I'm a mix between an ectomorph and an endomorph. So for my needs, I wasn't getting anywhere. I mean, I was maintaining at best. I was getting a little bit strong, just a tad bit, but at the same, but not, it didn't get very far. And I was, like I said, I was maintaining at best. It was maintenance at best. And I had to come to realize that that's what my workout sessions for the longest have been. It's just been maintenance. Like, even when like I said, I gained a shit ton of weight, and it made me kind of strong, and then I lost all the weight and got real light, because I went from 215 to like 150 pretty much. And I still managed to get my strength back. So that right there proved to me that you don't have to be just this super duper huge dude, because there'd be days I could damn near bench press 205 at 150 on a real good day, of course. So I was thinking, well, between the time that I lost all that weight and up until now, I've just been maintaining. But my whole thing has been getting strong on the bench press. And now that I'm finally in a position to do it, and I'm relying on this gym that I've been going to now for the past 5 years to get to that point, it just dawned on me that I'm not going anywhere trying to do this. So what I did, and what was my project, because it's May now, but I started this real early, and of course I did it with the help of I used my own money too, but I did it also with the help of my W-2 tax return. Is built my own home gym, because after, like I said, all that volume, all that ridiculous volume that I witnessed, between that and all these goofy broads in the gym, trying to record dudes, calling themselves recording